Here
and
we are.
see if we can
Welcome
find
to the
some
Common
more
Sense
water.
Show,
I don't know how far we're
episode
going to get before it
6.
gets impossible.
You know, we always try to have a theme going. We always try to have. What's today's theme? Scams. How to avoid scams. Today in the mail, I had a FedEx Express little square cardboard cutout, or package, I should say. And it was priority overnight delivery. And so I opened it up, and all I had was a piece of paper that was a check in there, and that was it. No directions, no envelope, no nothing. And the check was for $2,600. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have anybody sending me $2,600. But I'm like, oh, it's a check. Why not? I should deposit this. I should cash this. But to see that wouldn't be common sense. Your intuition will usually give you a heads up of what's wrong. And my intuition totally did. So I looked at the details of the check. Well, I had the right address, had my name on there, spelled correctly in full, which is a little scary. But it didn't really have any other details to go on. It was from Provident Trust Group, LLC, which I've never heard of. I looked up the company, there wasn't much online about it. Their address was like 3000 Lava Ridge Drive in California. Roselle, California, or some town. I'm in Illinois, so that's already suspicious in itself. I don't know anybody in California. I have no reason for anything to be coming from California. I don't remember ordering anything. I looked online, there's nothing else on it either. So, of course, there was an address, so I looked that up. It's a different company it's a different company than Provident Trust Group when you look it up. So I'm like, why not call them? Why not? And I call them, and they're like, oh, you got a check? Oh, you're part of the investing branch firm? All right. And then transfer me to another number. And I was telling them about this check, and I was telling them about the company on there. They're like, oh, that was our old company name. I was like, all right, that's suspicious. But they didn't have any account with my name or anything like that. I asked them to look up the check number, and they didn't have anything else to go on either. So quite obviously, this is a scam. Well, not it should be common sense, but to some people it might not be. This is one of those situations that's where it's too good to be true. If somebody was to walk up to you the next day and say work, they would take over your job, they would fill in for you, and they'd still give you the whole check. It's one of those kind of situations that's too good to be true. You know, sometimes people can't get employed. Um, Sometimes they're trying to just make as much money as possible, or sometimes they're just in some other country where they're really struggling. So this is the way they figured on how to make out on some money. I'm sure you remember the old email scams back in the day. Oh, your uncle or your relative, your Nigerian relative died, and he was very wealthy, and he's going to send you $100 million. All you got to do is give your bank account information. Well, what? Some person I never even heard of wants to send me $100 million? Yeah, sure, do it, go for it. No, wait, really, don't. Because, you know, it's common sense, it's a scam. Most people in the world are not just going to drop opportunities in your lap. If you want people's help, you usually have to ask for it. Or you have to be working towards things, working on things, or you keep doing some things, and then you build up a lot of relationships and friends, and that's the only way people will know what you're about and what you do and how they can help you and drop opportunities your way. Otherwise, if you just sit around waiting for things to happen, nothing is going to happen. Yeah. So you gotta be careful of these scammers. They usually target old people, but nowadays there's just so many scams that they can get away with that look almost real, like too good to be true. What's another common scam? The IRS calling you or sending you mail or requesting your bills to be paid, or they're gonna fine you a ton of money. That's another big scam. Let's see if we can look up some more details about this. The IRS scam. Does IRS contact you by phone? If you get a call from somebody claiming to be from the IRS and asking for money, here's what you should do. If you think you owe taxes, or you might owe, call the IRS. They will help you with a payment issue. So if the IRS calls you, they probably won't be calling you. You should call the IRS to find out if you actually owe them anything. Or you would generally know. You're not just going to get a phone call or mail from the IRS telling you that you owe them. How to know if it's really the IRS calling or knocking on your door. Was there a time where they knocked on your door? The IRS does not demand that you pay taxes without the opportunity to question or appeal the amount they say you owe, threaten to bring in local police, immigration officers, or law enforcement for not paying, call to demand immediate payment using a specific payment method such as a debit card, gift card, or wire transfer. The more you know on scams. Let's see if there are more common scams in 2019. The ultimate list of the year's worst scams 2018. This should be a good list. 47,567 scams added to the BBB in 2018. Airbnb scam. Spoof website to finalize payment. Oh my gosh. Can you hear me? And yes calls. The scam happens when you answer the phone and the person on the line asks, can you hear me? And you respond yes. Your voice being recorded to obtain a voice signature for scammers. Authorized fraudulent charges over the phone. Yikes. Death threat hoax. I will be short. Get emails. I will be short. I've got an order to kill you. Fortnite scam. Of course that'd be one of them. Any other common ones? Medicare card scam. Yeah. No roof scam. They'll come to your house and want to do work on your roof after a big storm, and they'll ask for payment before they start working on the job. Oh, scam. Netflix scam, email phishing scam. So, today's topic, if you had any feedback or opinion, is what kind of scams have you been targeted with? What have you had to deal with? Of course, all it takes is a little common sense to avoid the scams. There are no get-rich schemes that actually work. Nobody's going to just magically drop some money in your lap. And you gotta learn to hone your intuition. You know, either make the mistakes yourself or you learn from others. And it's better to learn from others so you don't lose out on things. That's how you can avoid any sorts of scams. Because people are usually talking about things going on. Things to avoid, things that you don't want to be a part of. I don't know if there's anything else I need to really talk on this topic about. Has there been a time where your intuition has steered you down the right path? Have you been in a relationship where your gut feeling told you, yeah, this is not the right relationship for you? We've all been there. Oh, have you ever interviewed at a job and been like, this is not the right job for me, but I need the money, so I'm going to work here anyway? That's a gut feeling that everybody should have and know. Once you've worked at a couple of places, when you're interviewing a company, you know when it's not a good company to work for. Because you can see how the management acts, how your boss will act, and what their habits are. And you can always ask your employees if you're allowed to go look around in different rooms or different buildings. Yeah. It's kind of like looking to rent a place, a studio or one bedroom or in a different city. It'd be kind of silly if you just looked at a place online and then just rented it. To really get a good feel for things, you have to go see it in person, check everything yourself, the water, the sinks, the water pressure in the shower, check on every nook and cranny for any damage, check to make sure all the electricity bulbs work, the heating and cooling works, checking for any noise. I'm just kind of looking around thinking what else you should be looking for. Look everywhere. If you can pull out the fridge, I didn't know I would need to do this, but I actually found some water damage on the floor and on some board next to the fridge. And I'm like, this could be mold, wherever you leave water, or something could be broken. And it got by me on this place, which I'm a little upset about. What are you gonna do? You gotta be very thorough. You know, how much are you paying in rent? Where's your place located? All these kind of factor into what you should be looking out for. Check to make sure the gas works, the microwave works. Check everything. Trust your gut feeling. Depending on how much you pay for a place and what area it's in, that could also set off your radar, your intuition. If you're moving to New York and you find a 1-bedroom with a decent amount of space for $1,000 a month in a nice area, it's too good to be true. Probably not realistic. You have to know what the average is, what apartments usually go for, what they rent for in that area. You gotta avoid those too good to be true places, because usually just spell trouble or problems that you don't want to deal with. And I think that's where I'll wrap up today's episode. Scammers. What's a scam? How do you know what a scam is? Well, just avoid the too good to be true, because there are no get-rich-quick schemes, and there are no too good to be true opportunities. Usually, they're the just right opportunities. Thanks for watching.